10 years of saving every penny, 3,650 days of careful budgeting, overtime shifts, and saying no to every luxury, all to watch my freedom vanish with a single phone call. I'm Alexandra, and until yesterday, I was the closest I'd ever been to escaping. Working as a nanny for wealthy families had taught me patience and the art of staying invisible. I perfected the skill of being present but unseen, quietly stashing away my earnings while caring for other people's children. Miss Alexandra, can you check this math problem? Little Emma tugged at my sleeve, her worksheet covered in careful pencil marks. I leaned down to help just as my phone buzzed with an email from the apartment complex. Your deposit is due by 5 p.m. today to secure the lease. I smiled, knowing I had more than enough saved. $85,000 might seem excessive to some, but I needed that cushion. Starting over requires capital, especially when you're planning to disappear from a family that treats you like their personal ATM. Great work, Emma. Now, how about a snack break while I make a quick call? Break. The kitchen of the McCarthy estate gleamed with afternoon sunlight as I dialed my bank. My hands were steady. They always were when I was working. Professional calm, that's what Mrs. McCarthy called it. Good afternoon. I'd like to process a wire transfer. The banker's voice changed slightly. I'm showing your account balance as 240 Ms. Ellis. My stomach dropped. That's impossible. I had over $85,000 in savings as of last week. Let me check the transaction history. Keyboard clicks filled the pause. Yes, I see a wire transfer was processed 4 days ago. The full amount was transferred to an account under Valentina Bennett. The room tilted slightly. Valentina, my cousin, the golden child who could do no wrong, even when she was doing everything wrong. Who authorized this transfer? The authorization came through your online banking portal with secondary verification from, the banker paused, Deborah Ellis. My mother's name hit like a slap. Of course. She'd always had access to my accounts. Family security, she called it. I've been meaning to remove her, just like I've been meaning to change my passwords. Another item on the escape list I'd waited too long to complete. I did not authorize this transfer, I said, my voice surprisingly steady. I need to report this as fraud. You'll need to visit a branch in person to file a dispute, given that it was processed with valid credentials and family member verification. I ended the call and gripped the marble countertop. Emma's voice floated from the playroom, singing along to some cartoon theme song. My phone buzzed again. A text from Valentina. OMG, cuz, Paris is amazing. You have to see these shoes I just bought. Attached was a photo of Christian Louboutins, red soles gleaming. My savings transformed into designer heels. Mrs. McCarthy walked in just as I was fighting back tears. Alexandra, what's wrong? I straightened up immediately. Old habits die hard. Nothing, Mrs. McCarthy, just a family matter. She set down her coffee cup, fixing me with that sharp look that had probably closed 100 business deals. In 10 years, I've never seen you cry, not even when Emma had that terrible flu. Sit down and tell me what's happening. So I did. The words poured out, the savings, the theft, my mother's betrayal, Valentina's Paris shopping spree. Mrs. McCarthy listened without interrupting, her expression growing darker. Let me get this straight, she said finally. Your mother and cousin stole your entire savings, money you earned working in homes like mine, and they're spending it like it's a windfall? They probably don't even see it as stealing, I said quietly. In my family, personal boundaries don't exist. Everything belongs to everyone, except when it's mine. My phone buzzed again. Mother. Alexandra, darling, don't be difficult about this. Valentina needs a fresh start, and you're so good at saving. You'll have it back in no time. Family helps family. Mrs. McCarthy read the text over my shoulder and made a sound I'd never heard from her before, something between a scoff and a snarl. Family helps family, she repeated. Is that what they call theft these days? I stared at my phone, at the string of heart emojis my mother had added after her message. 10 years of savings gone. My escape fund, my safety net, my chance at freedom, all of it converted into Parisian shopping sprees and whatever else Valentina deemed essential to her fresh start. What are you going to do? Mrs. McCarthy asked quietly. I looked up at her, and something in my expression made her step back slightly. I'm going to get my money back, I said, and then I'm going to make sure they never forget what it costs to steal from me. My phone buzzed one more time. Another text from Valentina. Having dinner at the Ritz. Don't worry, I'll send pics. You're the best 'cause ever. I turned off my phone. I had work to do. Family dinner tonight, non-negotiable. Mother's text arrived just as I finished changing all my passwords and revoking shared access to my accounts. Too little, too late, but it was a start. I arrived at their house exactly on time, wearing my work clothes like armor. Through the window I could see them all gathered around the dining table. Mother, her boyfriend Ernest, Uncle Don, Valentina, and my sister Daisy. A perfect family portrait, minus the $85,000 elephant in the room. Alexandra! Mother rushed to hug me as if nothing was wrong. She smelled like expensive perfume, probably a gift from Valentina's European shopping spree. We've missed you. I let her hug me but didn't hug back. Have you? I thought you were too busy wire transferring my savings to miss me. The room went quiet. Valentina looked up from her phone, her new designer watch catching the light. Oh my God, are you still upset about that? It's just money. Just money? I kept my voice level. 10 years of my life, every extra shift, every holiday I worked, every penny I saved. Oh, please. Uncle Don waved his hand dismissively. You're young. You can save it again. Valentina needed this opportunity. She's starting an influencer career in Europe. That takes capital. I turned to my mother. And you thought the best source of capital was my bank account? Darling, Mother sighed, arranging her face into what she probably thought was a compassionate expression. You're the strong one, the responsible one. Valentina needs more support to find her path. That's what family does. We help each other. Help! I laughed, and everyone flinched at the sound. Is that what we're calling theft now? Alexandra! Ernest stood up, his face reddening. Watch your tone. Your mother made a difficult decision for the good of the family. Sit down, Alexandra. Mother gestured to the empty chair. I made your favorite pasta. Let's discuss this calmly, like adults. I remained standing. Did you discuss it calmly when you forged my authorization, when you transferred my entire savings without even telling me? I knew you'd be difficult about it, Mother said. You've always been so rigid about money. Sometimes parents have to make executive decisions. I'm 29 years old. You don't get to make executive decisions about my life savings. Valentina rolled her eyes. God, you're so dramatic. I'll pay you back eventually. Once my lifestyle brand takes off, I'll be making way more than your nanny's salary. When? I asked. Before or after you blow through my savings on hotels and designer shoes? Those shoes were an investment, Valentina snapped. I need to look the part to attract followers. Aunt Deb understands that. I turned to Daisy, who hadn't said a word. Do you think this is okay? She wouldn't meet my eyes. You know how it is, Alex. Family first. Family first, I repeated. Unless you're me, right? Mother slammed her hand on the table. Enough! I won't have you turning this into a persecution complex. You're better than this, Alexandra. Stronger. I raised you to understand sacrifice. No, I said quietly. You raised me to be your backup plan. Your safety net, the responsible one who would always be there to clean up everyone else's messes. But you forgot something, Mother. And what's that? I pulled out my phone and showed them the screen, the confirmation of my revoked account access, the new passwords, the freeze on all joint accounts. I learned from the best. You taught me all about executive decisions, remember? Mother's face went pale. What have you done? Protected what's left of my assets. Isn't that what strong women do? You ungrateful little. Uncle Don started to rise, but Mother held up her hand. Alexandra, she said, her voice honey-sweet again, let's not do anything hasty. We're family. We can work this out. I walked to the door, then turned back one last time. You're right about one thing, Mother. I am strong, strong enough to walk away, strong enough to fight back. And trust me, you won't like what happens next. Is that a threat? Ernest called after me. No, I said. It's a promise. As I reached my car, my phone buzzed with a new Instagram notification. Valentina had posted a photo of herself in front of the Eiffel Tower, wearing my savings and designer clothes. The caption read, "Living my best life. Sometimes the universe just provides. Sharp blessed, sharp family support, short dreams come true." I screenshot it and sent it to Mrs. McCarthy, adding, "Still have that lawyer friend you mentioned?" Her response came immediately. "Come over tomorrow morning. We're going to make them regret ever touching your money." I started my car, leaving behind the house where family loyalty meant nothing and theft meant everything. They thought they knew me, the quiet one, the responsible one, the one who would always forgive and forget. They were about to learn how wrong they were. They did what? Lexi nearly dropped her coffee cup. We were sitting in the McCarthy's kitchen the next morning waiting for Mrs. McCarthy's contact to arrive. "I knew your family was toxic, but this is criminal." "Literally criminal," Mrs. McCarthy added, checking her phone. "Milo should be here any minute. He's the best forensic accountant in the city." I wrapped my hands around my tea, trying to stay calm. "Will he be able to trace everything?" "Oh, honey," Mrs. McCarthy's smile was sharp. "Milo once tracked a penny through 17 shell companies. Your mother and cousin don't stand a chance." The doorbell rang and Mrs. McCarthy's housekeeper showed in a man carrying a sleek laptop bag. He wore wire-rimmed glasses and had the focused look of someone who enjoyed solving puzzles. "You must be Alexandra," he said, setting up his equipment. "Caitlin filled me in. Let's start with your bank statements from the past year." For the next hour, we went through everything, every transaction, every transfer, every login attempt. Milo's fingers flew over the keyboard, his frown deepening. "This is interesting," he said finally. "The theft wasn't spontaneous. They've been planning this for months." "What do you mean?" I leaned forward. He turned his screen toward me. "See these credit card applications? They were submitted in your name starting 6 months ago. The addresses were changed slightly, just enough to redirect the cards without triggering fraud alerts." "But I never applied for new credit cards." "No," he agreed. "But someone with access to your personal information did. Someone who knew your social security number, your mother's maiden name, your employment history." "Deborah," Mrs. McCarthy said flatly. Lexi squeezed my hand. "That's identity theft. We can nail them for that." Milo nodded. "It gets worse. The wire transfer to Valentina? That money didn't go directly to her. It was routed through a shell company first, registered to your Uncle Don." My stomach churned. "Why would they do that?" "Tax evasion, most likely. The company is listed as a youth empowerment nonprofit. Makes the money look like a charitable donation." Mrs. McCarthy made a disgusted sound. "They're not just thieves. They're trying to dodge taxes on the stolen money." "I've seen this before," Milo said, pulling up more documents. Family financial abuse often involves multiple layers of fraud. They probably thought the complexity would discourage you from fighting back. My phone buzzed. Another Instagram post from Valentina. Shopping spree in Milan. Sometimes you have to invest in yourself. Ha, blessed. Keep posting, cousin, I muttered. Every purchase is evidence. Lexi looked over my shoulder at the post. Wait a minute. I just remembered something. She pulled out her own phone, scrolling frantically. Here, remember when I covered your shift at the preschool last month? Valentina came to pick up her friend's kid using your name. What? Yeah, she said you'd authorized her. There was paperwork and everything. I thought it was weird, but your mom called the school to confirm it was okay. Milo's eyes lit up. Do you have copies of that paperwork? The school would, Lexi said. They keep everything. Perfect. That's another documented instance of identity theft. And if they used your name for school pickup authorization, they've probably done it elsewhere too. Mrs. McCarthy stood up. I'm calling Robert. At my confused look, she added, My husband. He's a partner at his law firm. We're going to need him. I don't know if I can afford. Stop right there. She cut me off. Consider this my investment in justice. Nobody steals from my people. Milo was still typing. I'm going to need a few days to follow all the money trails, but I can already tell you this is serious. We're talking multiple federal crimes. What should I do in the meantime? I asked. Document everything. Save every message, every social media post. Don't respond to them, but keep records of all contact attempts. And he hesitated. What? Prepare yourself. When people like this realize they're about to face consequences, they often lash out. It might get ugly before it gets better. As if on cue, my phone rang. Mother's number. Don't answer, Mrs. McCarthy advised. Let them dig their hole deeper. The voicemail notification popped up a minute later. Mother's voice sickly sweet. Darling, I just heard the most disturbing rumor. Someone said you're talking to lawyers. That's not very family-oriented of you. Call me back so we can discuss this like adults. Lexi snorted. Like adults? Where was the adult discussion when they stole your money? Milo closed his laptop. I'll have a preliminary report for you in 48 hours. In the meantime, don't engage with them. Let them think you're backing down. And then? I asked. Mrs. McCarthy's smile was downright predatory. And then we show them exactly what happens when they mess with the wrong woman. I looked at the team assembled in the kitchen. The forensic accountant, my best friend, my employer turned ally. For the first time since discovering the theft, I felt something other than rage and helplessness. I felt powerful. Mother always said, family helps family. She was about to learn that sometimes help comes in the form of hard lessons and harder consequences. Happy birthday, Valentina! The chorus of cheers echoed through the restaurant as my cousin blew out the candles on her designer cake. I sat quietly at the corner of the table, watching, recording everything on my phone under the guise of taking photos. Mother had insisted I attend, claiming my absence would raise questions. So here I was, surrounded by family members who'd helped steal my life savings, all celebrating the thief of honor. Speech! Uncle Don called out, raising his wine glass. Tell us about your new business venture, sweetheart. Valentina stood practically glowing in a dress that probably cost 3 months of my salary. Well, as you all know, I've launched my own angel investment fund. It's called Val's Visions, named after my Instagram handle. I took a slow sip of water, pressing record on my phone. The universe just aligned perfectly, she continued, gesturing dramatically. Right when I was ready to level up, the funding appeared. That's what happens when you manifest abundance. More like manifest theft, I muttered under my breath. Daisy, sitting next to me, shifted uncomfortably. And I have to thank my amazing family, Valentina gushed. especially Aunt Deb for believing in me enough to make it happen. Mother beamed, raising her glass. To the future of our family. I raised my water glass mechanically, watching Valentina bask in the attention. She'd already blown through nearly half of my savings in just 3 weeks. Alexandra, Ernest called out suddenly, you've been awfully quiet. Don't you want to congratulate your cousin? All eyes turned to me. I forced a smile. Of course. Valentina, your investment strategy is fascinating. Tell me more about how you're managing the fund. Oh, it's amazing. Valentina leaned forward eagerly, too narcissistic to notice the trap. I'm investing in all these exclusive opportunities. Like there's this amazing NFT project in Paris and this super exclusive crypto thing in Milan. I let her ramble, my phone recording every word. Milo would love this. Detailed admissions of how she was spending stolen money. And the best part, she continued, is that I'm building a whole network. These elite investment groups, they really respond to someone who comes in with serious capital, you know? How interesting, I said softly. And all this started right after my savings disappeared. What a coincidence. The table went quiet. Mother cleared her throat. Alexandra, dear, let's not. No, no, I interrupted. Please tell us more about these investment groups, Valentina. I'm sure the IRS would love to hear about them, too. Uncle Don's face turned red. That's enough. Is it? I stood up slowly. Because I think we're just getting to the good part. The part where you explain how my stolen money became a charitable donation through your shell company. Sit down, Mother hissed. You're making a scene. Am I? Or am I just finally speaking up about the scene you all created when you decided to rob me? Valentina's lower lip trembled. Why are you being so mean? This is my birthday. And those were my savings. Funny how that works. I grabbed my purse and headed for the door, but Daisy caught up with me in the hallway by the restrooms. Alex, wait. I turned. What, Daisy? Going to defend them again? She looked around nervously before speaking in a low voice. You were never going to be one of us, you know that, right? You were always too different, too careful, too focused on doing the right thing. Is that supposed to make me feel better about being robbed? I'm trying to help you understand. They don't see it as stealing. In their minds, the money was always meant for Valentina. You were just holding it for her. I stared at my sister, really seeing her for the first time. And what do you see it as? She wouldn't meet my eyes. I see it as inevitable. You should have known this would happen eventually. It's how our family works. Not anymore. I stepped back. And you know what, Daisy? When this all comes crashing down, and it will, remember that you chose your side. Alex, no, you don't get to play both sides anymore. You're either complicit or you're not. And right now, you're standing in that restaurant, celebrating theft. I walked out, letting the door swing shut on her response. My phone buzzed with a text from Milo. Got the recording. This is gold. Meeting tomorrow? I replied quickly. Yes, time to move forward. Another text came through, this time from Mother. Your behavior tonight was shameful. We raised you better than this. I smiled as I typed my response. No, Mother. You raised me exactly for this. You taught me everything I know about taking what I want without asking. Guess the lesson finally sank in. Then I blocked her number and drove home, leaving behind a birthday party that was about to become evidence in a federal investigation. Let them eat their designer cake. Soon they'd be choking on it. The final wire transfer was routed through 3 separate accounts before landing in Youth Empowerment Solutions, LLC, your uncle's shell company, Milo explained, spreading documents across Mrs. McCarthy's dining room table. From there, it was distributed to Valentina through a series of smaller transfers, each labeled as consulting fees. They really thought this through, Mrs. McCarthy's husband Robert said, examining the papers, but they made one crucial mistake. What's that? I asked. They got greedy. If they'd stolen a smaller amount, you might have let it go. But $85,000? He shook his head. That's federal territory. Lexi, who'd taken the morning off to be here, leaned forward. I got the documents from the preschool. Valentina forged Alexandra's signature 3 different times, and Deborah called to authorize it each time. Perfect, Milo said. That establishes a pattern of identity theft and fraud. My phone buzzed. Another group text from Mother. Family meeting tonight, mandatory. We need to discuss Alexandra's recent behavior. They're getting nervous, Mrs. McCarthy observed. Your silence is making them sweat. Robert nodded. Time to file the police report. We have more than enough evidence. Won't they be warned? I asked. That's exactly what we want, he said. Right now, they think they're untouchable. A police investigation will shake that confidence. Milo pulled up another document. I also found something interesting in your mother's financial records. She's been doing this for years, moving money between accounts, manipulating documents. You're not her first victim, just her biggest score. How did you get her records? She used your social security number to open joint accounts. That gave us legal access to everything connected to those accounts. He smiled. Like I said, they got sloppy. My phone buzzed again, Valentina this time. OMG, Alex, why are the police calling me? What did you do? Don't respond, Robert advised. Let them panic. Minutes later, Mother called, then Uncle Don, then Ernest. I silenced each call, watching the notifications pile up. Your mother just emptied her main account, Milo reported, watching his laptop screen. They're trying to hide assets. Too late, Robert said. We've already documented everything. This just makes them look more guilty. A final text from Mother. You forced our hand. Don't blame us for what happens next. An hour later, I found out what she meant. A courier delivered an envelope, legal papers. They were suing me for defamation. Robert laughed out loud when he read them. This is desperate. They're claiming you're damaging the family's reputation with false accusations of theft, while we have documented proof of the theft. They think they can bully you into dropping everything, Mrs. McCarthy said. Classic abuser tactics. What do? I asked. We respond, Robert said, pulling out his phone. I'm filing our countersuit right now. Theft, fraud, identity theft, tax evasion. Let's see how they like being on the defensive. Lexi squeezed my hand. They really thought you'd just take this, didn't they? They thought I was still the quiet one, the responsible one, the one who would sacrifice everything to keep the peace. Their mistake, Mrs. McCarthy said firmly. My phone lit up with a final text from Daisy. Mom's crying. Val's having a breakdown. Why are you doing this to us? I showed the message to the room. Milo snorted. Notice how they're the victims now? Classic Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. Should I respond? I asked. Yes, Robert said. But let me draft it. We want this in writing. He typed quickly on my phone. Any further communication should go through my legal team. Your tears don't change the documented theft of $85,000, the identity fraud, or the tax evasion. See you in court? Perfect, Milo said. Professional, factual, and just threatening enough. The response was immediate. A flood of messages from every family member, ranging from rage to pleading. I turned off my phone. What now? I asked the room. Now, Robert said. We wait. The police will contact them. They'll get formal notice of the lawsuit. Their banks will freeze accounts for investigation, and they'll realize that their comfortable little world of theft and manipulation is about to collapse. And if they try anything else? Mrs. McCarthy's smile was cold. Then they'll learn why you don't mess with someone who has powerful friends. I looked at the team assembled around me, the lawyer, the forensic accountant, my best friend, my employer. For the first time, I understood what real family looked like. Not the people who steal from you, but the ones who help you fight back. One more thing, Milo said, turning his laptop toward me. Look what Valentina just posted. It was a tearful selfie with a long caption, "Being attacked by jealous people who can't handle your success, but I know my truth. Stay strong, Giles blessed." Perfect, Robert said. Let her keep posting. Every word is evidence. I sat back, watching my family's carefully constructed world of lies begin to crumble. They wanted a war? Fine. I was ready to give them one. The courthouse hallway felt colder than it should have in summer. I sat on a wooden bench, watching my family huddle with their lawyer at the other end. Mother kept shooting me wounded looks while Valentina dabbed at her perfectly made-up eyes with a designer handkerchief. Ready? Robert asked, appearing beside me with a stack of files. They brought reinforcements. I nodded toward my Uncle Don, who had just arrived with Ernest in tow. Good. Robert smiled. More witnesses to their humiliation. The bailiff called us into the courtroom. As we filed in, I caught snippets of their whispered conversations. She's just doing this for attention. Always so dramatic. We're family, for God's sake. Judge Patterson, a stern-faced woman in her 60s, surveyed the room. Before we begin, I want to be clear. This is not a family therapy session. This is a court of law addressing serious allegations of theft and fraud. Proceed. Their lawyer stood first. Your Honor, this is a simple family misunderstanding. Ms. Alexandra is overreacting to a normal family financial arrangement. Normal? Robert interrupted, standing. Your Honor, we have documented evidence of $85,000 stolen through identity theft, fraudulent wire transfers, and tax evasion. Let me present Exhibit A. He projected Valentina's social media posts onto the courtroom screen, photo after photo of luxury purchases, each dated after the theft, each bragging about her investment fund. Objection, their lawyer called. Social media posts are not evidence. Overruled, Judge Patterson said. Continue. Robert nodded to Lexi, who took the stand. Please tell the court what you witnessed at the preschool. I saw Valentina forge Alexandra's signature on pickup authorization forms. When the school called to verify, Deborah impersonated Alexandra over the phone. Mother stood up. I was helping. That's what mothers do. Mrs. Ellis, the judge warned, you will have your turn to speak. Milo presented next, methodically outlining every fraudulent transaction, every forged document, every attempt to hide the money trail. With each revelation, I watched my family's faces change from indignant to worried. Furthermore, Milo continued, we've uncovered evidence of similar schemes dating back years. Mrs. Ellis has a pattern of financial manipulation. That's a lie, Mother shrieked, jumping up. I demand— Sit down, Judge Patterson ordered, or I'll have you removed. Mr. Gardner, continue. The evidence mounted. Bank statements, forged signatures, recorded conversations from Valentina's birthday party where she bragged about her angel fund. Their lawyer kept trying to object, but each piece of evidence was more damning than the last. Then came the tax records. Your Honor, Robert said, the defendants didn't just steal the money. They attempted to launder it through a fake charity to evade taxes. We've submitted this evidence to the IRS for further investigation. Uncle Don went pale. Valentina started crying for real this time. Their lawyer requested a brief recess, desperately whispering with my family in the corner. I could see him gesturing frantically as Mother shook her head. When we reconvened, he approached Robert. We'd like to discuss settlement terms. No, I said firmly, loud enough for everyone to hear. No settlements, no deals. They wanted this fight. Let's finish it. Judge Patterson reviewed the final evidence, her expression growing darker. I've seen a lot in this courtroom, but the calculated nature of this theft, perpetrated against a family member, is particularly disturbing. She turned to my family. Mrs. Ellis, your actions constitute multiple felonies. Ms. Bennett, your willing participation and subsequent spending of stolen funds makes you equally culpable. Mr. Bennett, creating a fraudulent charity for tax evasion adds another layer of criminal liability. Mother tried one last time. Your Honor, please understand, we're family. Family, Judge Patterson interrupted, does not excuse criminal behavior. In fact, it makes it worse. My ruling is as follows. The next few minutes were a blur of legal terms and numbers, but the key points were clear. Full restitution of my savings plus interest, freezing of all their accounts pending criminal investigation, and referral to the district attorney for prosecution. But what about my business? Valentina wailed. My investments? Your business, the judge said coldly, was funded with stolen money. All assets derived from these funds are subject to seizure. As we left the courtroom, Mother grabbed my arm. How could you do this to us? We're your family. I pulled away. No, Mother. Family doesn't steal from family. You taught me that today. You've destroyed us, she whispered. No, I replied. You destroyed yourselves. I just showed everyone the truth. Outside, Mrs. McCarthy was waiting with Lexi and Milo. How did it go? I handed her the court order. They're facing criminal charges. Everything's frozen. It's over. Not quite, Robert said, checking his phone. The DA wants to meet tomorrow about pressing charges. This could get bigger. I looked back at the courthouse where my family was huddled, their designer clothes and expensive accessories suddenly looking like what they were, things bought with stolen dreams. They thought they could take everything from me. Instead, they lost everything themselves. Karma, it turns out, takes good notes. The DA's office was quieter than I expected. Detective Rivera spread photos across her desk, screenshots of Valentina's Instagram, bank statements, forged documents. Each piece told part of the story of my family's betrayal. We've seen family fraud cases before, she said, but rarely this organized. Your mother and uncle had quite the system going. Had? I asked. The investigation uncovered similar schemes going back years. Other relatives, family, friends. You weren't the first victim, just the first to fight back. My phone buzzed. Another voicemail from Mother. Alexandra, please. The police are asking questions about things from years ago. You don't understand what you started. Detective Rivera raised an eyebrow. They're still contacting you? Trying to. I haven't responded. Good. Keep it that way. She pulled out more files. We found at least 3 other instances where your mother manipulated family finances. 2 cousins and an aunt, all too embarrassed to come forward. A knock at the door interrupted us. Another detective entered with a fresh stack of papers. We got the warrant for Deborah Ellis's storage unit. You're going to want to see this. The new documents showed years of systematic theft, carefully documented in Mother's own handwriting, account numbers, transfer dates, amounts stolen. She'd kept records of everything. Your mother's quite the accountant, Detective Rivera said. She documented every theft like it was a business transaction. Will they go to jail? I asked quietly. Your uncle definitely will. Tax fraud with a fake charity is federal territory. Your mother and cousin. She shuffled some papers. They're looking at serious charges. The DA is preparing indictments now. My phone lit up again. Daisy this time. Mom's having a breakdown. The police took her phone and computer. What have you done? I showed the message to Detective Rivera, who added it to her file. Your sister knew about this? She knew enough to stay quiet. We'll need to interview her, too. As if on cue, my phone rang again. This time it was Ernest, mother's boyfriend. I put it on speaker at the detective's nod. Alexandra, this has gone too far. Your mother is devastated. They're saying she could face prison time. You need to drop the charges. Detective Rivera leaned forward. Sir, this is Detective Rivera with the police department. Are you attempting to interfere with a criminal investigation? Silence, then a click as he hung up. They still think they can make this go away, I said. They're about to learn otherwise. She handed me a document. The DA is offering your cousin a deal. Testify against your mother and uncle in exchange for a lighter sentence. Will she take it? Given the choice between prison and turning on your mother, my money's on self-preservation. Right on cue, my phone buzzed with a text from Valentina. I'm so sorry, Alex. Aunt Deb made me do it. She said it was the only way. Please tell the police I'll cooperate. Detective Rivera smiled grimly. Like clockwork. They always turn on each other when cornered. Another detective entered with more news. The IRS just froze all accounts connected to the fake charity. Don's wife is on the phone saying she'll tell us everything. My phone kept lighting up with messages. Mother, you've destroyed this family. Uncle Don, we can work this out privately. Ernest, think about what you're doing to your mother. Daisy, the police are here. Thanks a lot. Detective Rivera watched me read them. You know what I see in these messages. Not one apology, not one admission of guilt, just blame and manipulation. That's my family in a nutshell. Not any more, she said firmly. You've broken the cycle. Others will come forward now that you've shown it's possible to fight back. A final text came through from Mother. I needed you to be the strong one, the responsible one, the one who would understand. We needed you. I showed it to Detective Rivera, who shook her head. Classic abuser logic. They needed you to be their victim. What happens now? Now? She gathered her files. Now we build the strongest case possible. Your mother, uncle, and cousin will face charges. The IRS will handle the tax fraud. And you, she smiled, you get to walk away knowing you stood up to them. As I left the police station, my phone buzzed one last time. A news alert. Local family charged in multi-year financial fraud scheme. Below it was a comment from Valentina's last Instagram post, now deleted. Living my best life, nothing can stop me, blessed. Except the truth could stop her, could stop all of them. I drove home thinking about Mother's words, we needed you. No, they needed someone to exploit, someone to steal from, someone to blame. Instead, they got someone who fought back. My phone buzzed again. Mrs. McCarthy, dinner tonight? The whole team wants to celebrate. I smiled, thinking of my real family, the people who stood beside me, who helped me fight, who showed me what support actually looks like. Count me in, I replied. Sometimes the family you choose is stronger than the family you're born into, and sometimes justice looks like walking away with your head held high, leaving the people who hurt you to face the consequences of their actions. They needed me to be strong. They got their wish. The key clicked in my new apartment's lock. My apartment, paid for with my recovered savings plus interest and damages. The morning sun streamed through windows that nobody else had keys to, illuminating boxes waiting to be unpacked. My phone buzzed, a news notification. Mother's sentencing was complete, 18 months for fraud and identity theft. Uncle Don got 3 years for tax evasion. Valentina's plea deal earned her probation and mandatory restitution payments. Ready for some help? Lexi called from the doorway, carrying coffee and bagels. Mrs. McCarthy sent me with reinforcements. You didn't have to. Yes, we did, Mrs. McCarthy interrupted, appearing behind her with a housewarming plant. This is what real family does. As we unpacked, my phone kept lighting up with updates. Daisy had sent a final email. I deleted it unread. Valentina's Instagram had gone dark after her tearful courthouse confession. Mother's boyfriend, Ernest, had moved out of state, claiming family drama was too much for him. Look what I found, Lexi said, pulling a letter from my mail pile. The nanny agency responded. I opened it with slightly shaking hands. After everything that happened, I'd applied for a management position at the city's top agency. The letter was heavy, official. Dear Alexandra, I read aloud, we are pleased to offer you the position of Senior Placement Director. Mrs. McCarthy squealed most unprofessionally. I told you my reference would help. When do you start? 2 weeks. Full benefits, signing bonus. I sat down hard on a moving box. I'm going to be running the whole placement division. From nanny to executive, Lexi grinned. That's what I call karma. My phone buzzed again. Detective Rivera. Thought you'd want to know. 3 more victims came forward after your case went public. Your mother's sentence might be extended. You okay? Mrs. McCarthy asked softly, watching me read the message. Yeah, I looked around my new space. I spent so long being the family fixer, the responsible one, the one who would sacrifice everything to keep the peace. Now I'm just me. And how does just you feel? I smiled, free. A knock at the door made us all jump. Milo stood there with Robert, carrying champagne and files. Sorry to crash the unpacking party, Robert said, but we thought you'd want to see this right away. He handed me the files. The court approved the permanent restraining order. They can't contact you, period. No calls, no emails, no third-party messages. And this, Milo added, pulling out more papers, is the final tracking of every penny they stole. Everything's been recovered and returned. Plus, the IRS wants to talk to you about a reward for reporting tax fraud. I poured champagne for everyone, my hands steady. No more shaking, no more fear. I have a confession, Mrs. McCarthy said suddenly. I recommended you for the agency job weeks ago. I knew you'd need a fresh start, away from private nannying, away from reminders. Thank you, I said softly, all of you, for believing me, for helping me fight. You did the hard part, Lexi insisted. You stood up to them. My phone lit up one last time. An alert from the courthouse. Mother had tried to appeal her sentence, claiming family loyalty should mitigate the charges. The judge's response was clear. Family loyalty does not excuse criminal behavior. Request denied. You know what this place needs? Lexi declared, looking around my half-unpacked apartment. Music, dancing, celebration. She pulled up a playlist and soon we were all laughing, dancing around, moving boxes, celebrating not just a new apartment or job, but a new life. A life without toxic obligations or forced sacrifices. To Alexandra, Robert raised his glass. Who taught us all that? Sometimes the strongest family bonds are the ones you break. To justice, Milo added. To freedom. Mrs. McCarthy smiled. To me, I said finally, raising my own glass. Just me. Later, after everyone left, I stood in my quiet apartment. On my phone was a draft email from Mother, caught by the court's monitoring system before it could reach me. You'll regret this. Family is forever. I deleted it without reading further. She was wrong. Family isn't forever. Not toxic family anyway. Family is a choice, a privilege earned through love and respect, not demanded through guilt and manipulation. I unpacked my last box, finding the birthday cards Valentina had sent over the years, each one asking for money, each one signed family forever. I dropped them in the recycling. Outside my window, the city hummed with possibility. My new office waited. My new life beckoned. And for the first time, I didn't owe anyone anything. They wanted me to be strong. I became stronger than they ever imagined. They wanted me to be responsible. I became responsible for my own happiness. They said family was forever. I proved them wrong, and that was the greatest victory of all.